Hi guys, happy Friday. Yay! Woohoo! Friday. All right. So, today was a half day. We had teachers had some extra planning time. So, we started in math with going and finishing the section on quadrilaterals. So, when we classified quadrilaterals, we are grouping them and we're saying, okay, these things have these same attributes. Let's put them in a category together and group them together. So these are the common quadrilaterals that we've been talking about these today and yesterday: trapezoid, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, and square. And underneath them, these little bulleted things underneath, that shows those attributes that make that, like when you say square, well, a square has to have da 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 and da 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 in order to be considered a square. And so keep going back to this first page because this is where you need to reference when you're answering these questions. So today we went over a couple on page 4. And so on page, on page 4, let me clear all this out. All of that just came from a recording I just did, but it didn't record right. So now I'm doing it all over again. So let me take it off so I can tell you what I was doing. Can you go put them in the bedroom? All right. So, all right, there we go. Okay, so on this first one right here, it says, what is the name of the figure shown below? So you have 4 different options. All of those come from that first page. But when you look at them, you find that in order to be a rectangle, you have to have opposite sides that are the same. So we have that. You need 4 right angles, and we don't have that. If we put, let me see if I can get this. Oh, no. Oh, that's not what I want. Hold on. Where'd my square go? Oh, it's because I made it so big. Let me see if I can make this show. Nope, that's not going to work. All right. So if you were to take a piece of paper, so you can take any kind of paper, and you see how the corners are that make up that right angle. So if you take your shape and you match it up to the corner of your paper, then you can test. And when you do that and you hold it up to it, you can see that it's not lined up perfectly. If it goes like here's the corner, if the line for your shape goes on the outside, then it's obtuse. If it's on the inside, then it's acute. Sorry. All right. So can you put them in the bedroom? Thank you. All right. So can't be a rectangle because we don't have 4, oh goodness, we don't have 4 right angles. So scratch that out. Then square, same thing. Square has 4 right angles, so it cannot be a square. When you go back and you look at what it says about trapezoids, trapezoids have exactly 1 pair of parallel lines. And if we look here, we notice that this side right here is parallel to this side. And this side right here is parallel to this side right here. So because it has 2, we can take out trapezoid. We want exactly 1 for trapezoid. And then for the rhombus, rhombus has 4 equal sides. So all of these sides are the same. And the angles, because of it looks like that square, but remember, it doesn't have those 4 right angles because it's kind of slanted a little bit. And so this meets the criteria, and we know why we were able to take out the rest because they didn't meet that criteria. So now we're feeling confident about C. All right, and number 8 It says Jason wants to classify the figure below in as many ways as possible. So here, you guys are going to have some questions on this for your independent work. So what I suggest you do is just use checks and X's. So when you see, so for example, we talked about how a square and a rectangle have those 4 right angles. So when you look at the angles, okay, there's the 4 angles. If you look at them, none of them are right angles. These 2 right here on the bottom are acute. Oh, goodness. Stop, stop, stop. Oh, goodness. Try this one more time. Acute. There we go. All right, and then this one would be acute. And then these on top are obtuse angles. So none of them are right. So everywhere that you see square, you can take that out. And everywhere you see rectangle, you can take that out. Well, just knowing about those rectangles alone has already got rid of 3 answer choices. We don't even need to look at the other ones. And then, so let's go see why D would be correct. So D says quadrilateral. So quad, remember, means 4. This is a 4-sided figure. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4-sided figure, that matches. And then trapezoid, let me erase so I can show you here. A trapezoid, remember, has those 1 pair of parallel lines. So if you look at these lines here, these lines, if you were to extend them, they're eventually going to touch and meet at this point here. So it can't be those. And then if we look at the other opposite sides, you've got this line here and this line here. Those are opposite. If you were to extend them out, they're not going to ever meet, and they're the same distance apart from each other. So when I look from this point up to this point, straight up and down here, this is the same distance as any other point on this line. So because of that, that shows that they're parallel. So check on that. So now I'm feeling confident that D is my answer there. All right, so now get rid of this. You guys were to go down here. So page 5 you did yesterday, and page 6 is today. So here, same type of stuff. What's the name of the figure? How can we classify this as many ways as possible? What is the name of a quadrilateral that has 4 right angles? So just keep going back. Notice it's those same shapes all the way throughout. And all of those are here on this first page. Okay, so if you keep referencing back to this and looking at those attributes, those will help you to be able to solve that. All right, in small group today, we went back over some of these pages. So all of these parts right here where it says geometry reteach, geometry reteach, geometry reteach. Make sure that you have gone back over those. That's everything that we've covered so far. So make sure, if you have any questions on any of that you ask, and we get that to where you make sure that you are understanding it. A lot of it's just strictly vocabulary. So some of the anchor charts and things like that we've made and things that we put in our notebook, make sure that you are understanding that before we keep moving on. And let me know if you have questions. All right, the rest of the day was just kind of some catch up. So in reading, we went here and we went to our activities, and there was a story in here that we hadn't done yet. So it was right here. So we read the caterpillar story, and then we read the drama but there was a story in the middle that we had skipped. So we went back to it and finished that one. It starts on page 4. So we read Tiny Libraries with Big Stories and talked about this story. And then we broke out into breakout rooms, and the breakout room 1 had this question. And so when we came back together, whatever breakout room you were in, the group shared their thinking, how they solved it, and what they got and why other things weren't. And so we did all the way to 36. So now you should have the caterpillar story done. You should have this story done, and you should have the drama that we did with the questions here. So make sure 1 through 8, all the questions got solved, and that was that. And then let's see here. All right, so I still had a couple people that needed to take the reading test, so we did not go over that. I'm going to send. I've got the list of things that you guys missed and the scores and everything. So I want you to go back even. I mean, we had some really high scores. You guys did really, really well. You blew the district scores and the rest of the classes out of the water. So you guys did really, really well overall as a whole class. So there's not too many that you need to go over, but there are a few. And so make sure, I mean, even if you got a 92, there's still something that you missed. So go see why you missed it. Go back over, see what the actual answer was, so we don't keep, continuing to make those mistakes. And if it's something that you're not really sure of, make sure you're asking, okay? So there was time given at the end also to go over and finish the Frederick Douglass book. So all groups had a book about him. Group A, you had one on your level, and Group B and C, you guys had one on y'all's level. And so when you're going through here, the part that we didn't go over yet was this last page. So now that you've read the book, go ahead and you're just talking about what is his personality, accomplishments, and influence. So just kind of some going back and making sure you're not just like, oh, he was great and he did, he accomplished lots of things. Go back to the book and find those specific things and make sure it's showing evidence that you read the story. Then in writing, same thing, kind of a finish up where what we'd been working on all week. So when you go to here in week 23 writing, open this up to your draft. Come on, open up. There we go. All right, so we started the week off with talking about fanboys and compound sentences. Then we did some practice. This page was the only 2 pages where we didn't finish the whole thing, and that's okay. Page 3, we did these together, and everybody finished 5 through 15 on their own. So with the subject verb agreement, you need to read it, or you need to read it and say everything out loud. So when you say Mina walk home from school versus Mina walks home from school, you can really hear the differences. And when you hear it, you can easily tell which one your answer is. Then on 4, irregular verbs. So you're using this word in the parentheses and you're thinking about what it would be in past tense. So just like this says up here, you can't just add an ed to these. These are irregular ones. So our family always took part in the Little Towns Easter Parade. We ate an early breakfast. We all wore our fanciest clothes. Papa gave me my first tie. The horse and cart and drove us to town. So taking these verbs and thinking about, okay, what would it be if I'm talking about this in past tense? And everybody finished all the way down to number 10 on the irregular verbs. All right, so make sure you have that done. And then the last part of writing was just on the writing samples that we've been doing. And so the writing samples here, you had the last one, number 5. So there should be 5 now. Last one is write about a time you were afraid and what did you do to feel better. So make sure you've got the 5: introduction, body, conclusion, the whole works, and make sure that's completed and turned in. Then in science, we finished up our closed reading activities we've been doing. And so if you go here, open up your draft. Alrighty, edit that. All right, so going down, starting at page 5, this is what should be completed. So page 5, page 6, page 7, page, what page am I on? Page 11, page 12, page, this question right here, compare and contrast the new moon and full moon. This goes with page 13. So I said if you wanted to help you use this to help you kind of organize your information to answer this last part, then that was fine. Otherwise, if you didn't need it, that's fine too. And then here on 14 is where they worked today. So we went back and we looked at some of these vocabulary words. So you have glossary here on this first story or on the second story, and then you have a glossary here on that first story. So we picked one of the words, we put it in the middle here. We put the definition in our own words. We put the actual definition. Synonym is a word that means the same thing, and then using the word in your own sentence. And then going back to this Phases of the Moon article, this went through and we highlighted all of the different moon phases. So using that information to help you come over here to where it says Science Moon Phases, and going here, opening this. And so here you're putting the order in the correct place and by moving the little moons. And you really need to pay attention to which direction the sunlight's coming from. So the sunlight is the arrows. The sunlight is coming from this direction. So that is going to be different from the one that you did in the seesaw, because in the seesaw one here, the sunlight is coming from this side, those sun rays are coming, all that light's coming from this direction. So it's not going to match up. You're going to have to make some adjustments due to that. And then this one here, labeling the names. So looking at when it's all white, you can see the full moon versus when it's all dark. That's when you've got the new moon. So looking at those white and black and labeling those. And then for social studies today, you can click to watch the video here. And then Friday's article and you can turn that in when you're done. And then this was really short because it was just a couple minute little article there because we had dismissed pretty much right after. So um, hopefully you had some time to catch up on some of those things that needed to be turned in today. And so go through your Seesaw and Google Classroom. I moved, we didn't get to this writing reflexive assignment, so I moved that to next week. So these 4 things, everything needs to be turned in here. So those should be grayed out and not green. And then in your Seesaw, all of your anything from week 18 all the way to week 23 should be completed. The only thing that should be in here is that reading test because this one right here, the reading unit 4 test, I'm going to go back in and like I said, I've got the scores and the ones that you missed that I'll go in and I'll put it in the comments and send that to you so you can go and make corrections. Alrighty. So have a good weekend and stay warm. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.